One of the things I'm doing is I'm getting my nose done. Finally. It's been bothering me forever. And Sarper has actually designed a new nose for me.
Cool?
What?
Shekina.
I wanna see you in my dreams tonight. Talk to you tomorrow.
All right, how is this not a scene from a horror movie? Nobody's gonna convince me otherwise. Is this some sort of like found footage version of Insidious? I know this image of a nun standing at the end of the hall is kind of creepy, but what about this? Imagine this guy running at you in the middle of the night trying to redesign your nose. Yes, that's the point we are at now. Sarper is using Shekina as his own little personal plastic surgery project. He's gonna re-sculpt her entire face. He even said something along the lines of wanting to make her into his perfect Barbie doll. This is an absolutely atrocious match. Sarper is probably the worst person for someone with self-esteem issues to, you know what, he's just the worst person to be with, period. We're talking about a guy whose best trait, according to him, is a stinky old mattress he's had for 12 years that he's been with hundreds of people, actually thousands of people on. Being the owner of that mattress is his most proud trait.
What is happening with your bed?
That is still your old bed.
She wanted to change my famous old bed. Most visited place in Istanbul.
You need a new bed, and I'm not gonna sleep there until you get a new one.
Do you want to change my too?
Can you believe that? She wanted him to throw out an old, crusty, disgusting bed that's probably an environmental hazard at this point. He said it's the most famous place in Istanbul. Yes, because it's about to be the epicenter of Chernobyl 2.0 when they find out what's emitting from that bed. They're gonna have to send in a bunch of people in environmental suits to clear the place.
Is this the longest you've ever been faithful to someone?
Yes.
Yeah. And you're being 100% honest with me?
110%.
Huh.
You know every second of mine. If I don't text you back for a while, what kind of a bitch you are?
Sarper is acting different today. I don't know what's gotten into him, but he normally doesn't do this. I think he's just like stressed out about my nose or something. Can someone explain to me what's wrong with her nose? What's the big deal here? She said it's been bothering her entire life. Why? It's a nose. It looks like a nose. You use it to smell things. And if people want to do this on their own accord, that's one thing, but she's clearly being pressured and influenced by Sarper. And also, I don't even understand his logic here. Why would she be a bitch if he's the one not responding? Is he saying, oh, if I don't respond, then you've really messed up? Also, I think I just figured out the whole nose thing. Maybe he wants to destroy people's sense of smell so they don't succumb to the poisons of his crusty old bed. How does he get anybody within 3 feet of that thing? Does he only target women that don't have a sense of smell?
Look at me. What is your name? Tell me.
My name is Shekina.
So anyway, I don't even think I explained what's going on. These two are on the new season of 90 Day Fiancé The Other Way, which just started, and she's planning to move back to Turkey to live with him permanently with her dog. And no, things have not gotten any better since the last season ended. It sounds like things have actually gotten worse between seasons. There's no way that anybody's gonna convince me that Sarper has been loyal this entire time. Like there's just not a chance.
When I ask Sarper where he is or what he's doing, he gets so defensive, he gets so upset. He'll go as far as breaking up with me, and like 10 minutes later, he's crying and saying that, you know, we can never be apart.
Well, that's a very common love bombing technique right there. I'm honestly surprised that Sarper could even figure out how to do it. Like, it demonstrates that he actually understands emotions well enough to manipulate them, which is actually really scary. I bet he has cheated on her, and when he breaks up with her, that's sort of just a way for him to not feel guilty about the cheating. But then he's unable to let her go completely, so the cycle starts over again. So after this, Sarper opens up about his OCD and the fact that he likes to count things, and I guess that's why he likes to count the amount of women that he's been with.
7 cars, 17 people.
6 sluts.
I don't know if it's a meditation or is OCD, it's kind of illness. And afterwards, I started kind of the girls.
So for those who don't know, Sarper apparently kept a notebook counting all of the women that he's been with. The problem is there's no names or anything, like it's just a bunch of X's and circles and like lines and shit, and at the end there's just a big number with a circle around it. It's just chicken scratch. I can picture him drunkenly rolling over in the middle of the night to write another one down after a big night out. I have been with many women. Here's proof.
So many people, they just see my muscles, but you know icebergs, they have a part here above the water and something big under the water.
I don't know if comparing yourself to an iceberg is the best thing. I feel like the iceberg analogy is usually used for like sinister or dark things. I know it's not always, but in general it implies that there's something lurking beneath the surface that you won't notice unless you take a closer look. Which, when it comes to Sarper, wouldn't surprise me at all. I'm sure this guy is full of secrets that he hasn't told Shekina and we don't know about. So next, Sarper has a conversation with his cousin about how he's struggling financially and he blew through all of his savings. He's a personal trainer and Shekina won't allow him to have clients that are women anymore, which was like 90% of his clientele. So I think he's been building up resentment towards her over this.
Ben maddi gücüm bir yere kadar. Hani birikimim yok. Anladın mı mantığı? Kız öğrenci çalıştırmamı...
Sadece erkeklerle mi çalışıyorsun?
Ne alakaydı ya?
Dokunmanı istemiyorum diyor.
Can you believe that? She thinks that I, of all people, would be doing that. How? How? What? My heart burns for... She is the best thing that has happened to me since the crusty bed.
Jason is just like my sister. I gave many secrets of mine to her. Not all secrets, I have to confess, because I slept like 7 of her friends.
Oh my god, this guy is something else. It's like that's all he talks about or thinks about, and if he's willing to keep secrets from people in his own family, then why the hell would Shekina be trusting this guy at all? He hooked up with a bunch of her friends and she doesn't even know about it. Like, how does that even happen? She's gotta know by now. Like, her friends have definitely told her. There's no way. Or Sarper is just a compulsive liar and a lot of this has been made up. Like, it's really hard to tell sometimes. At the very least, I'm sure some of it has been exaggerated.
Bazen mesela o çok büyük bir problem oldu, yani ayrılmaya kadar gittik. Arıyor mesela, neredesin? Ne yapıyorsun?
Bayağı klasik kıskanç.
Buraya geldi, buraya kadar çıktı.
So even though it is true that Shekina is super jealous, I don't think Sarper's cousin fully understands the toxic dynamic of their relationship. Like, do you know about the notebook? Do you know about the old bed? Do you know about the fact that he wants to rearrange her entire face and body to fit what he wants? These are things that would make anyone feel insecure, unwanted, and jealous, but she should just break up with him instead of putting up with it. Now with Shekina putting restrictions on what he can do and not allowing him to have female clientele for his job and losing some of his income, that's just going to build up more resentment between them and make their relationship even worse. There's no fixing this. It needs to be destroyed before it spreads and begins to harm other people. In Lord of the Rings, at the Council of Elrond, did they all sit around saying like, oh, how are we gonna fix this ring? How can we solve this? We need to fix it so it can be used again. No, they understood that this was made by Sauron himself. It needs to be destroyed. We need to throw it in a mountain of doom, literally. Now, am I saying we should toss Sarper into a volcano? No, but at the very least, we need to stop letting people like this dictate what other people could do with their noses.
I've asked him to not train female clients anymore, and in return he asked me to please not take part in LA events when I'm here, so.
All right, so she started putting restrictions on him and now he wants to put restrictions on her, and congratulations, now you have a terrible relationship with no trust. And obviously there are just understood restrictions when you enter a relationship, but these are things that would probably be okay if they had a normal, healthy relationship. Her going to LA events and him having female clients are things that seem like they could be worked out if they actually had trust with each other.
Hearing that she's been sitting at home doing nothing.
So that's not like her.
Oh my God.
Not like her at all.
That is not like her at all.
Wait a minute, who said that? Why is she sitting at home doing nothing? Is an LA event just any event that takes place in LA? Like, she can still go out and do stuff, unless the only thing she ever goes out to do are LA events. Also, I'm pretty sure that is one of her jobs as well, so presumably that's a source of income. So now they're both preventing each other from having a source of their income. This seems like the perfect setup for a really terrifying OnlyFans career.
Whenever I'm here for my visits, things go bad really quickly.
Like how?
Like, he starts to spiral. He gets really in his feelings. He doesn't feel like he can survive the long distance. And he's tried to break up with me a bunch of times.
Therefore, it's a good idea to spend a ton of money on a K-1 visa to go live with him permanently in a foreign country with your dog, away from your family and your daughter and the people who care about you. Last season, he literally told her that she's replaceable and he could get rid of her and forget about her in a couple of days. She'll just become another X in his notebook, maybe like a slightly bigger one. Maybe she'll get her own page, you know, with like a little heart.
Sarper has actually designed a new nose for me.
What?
She kind of,
He's designed a new nose for me.
honestly.
I like how she says design like he's on the computer or has a bunch of clay that he's sculpting with. He wants to build her like she's a PC or some shit, add a bunch of different attachments to whatever he is feeling in that moment. The whole thing is really weird, and I think she's trying to act like this sort of thing doesn't bother her, but it clearly does. Nobody would want to be with a person that wants them to rearrange their face, unless they're just being supportive of a decision that person made on their own accord. So anyway, now Shekina is on her way to the airport, and she reveals that an ex of hers from when she was like 15 years old sent her a 143-page letter. How do you just send somebody a 143-page letter out of the blue like that? That probably took a month to work on. What did it say? What can you write for that long? But guess what Shekina's plan is to do with this? She plans to bring this letter to Turkey and rub it in Sarper's face. I guess just to show it to him. Be like, look, see, there's somebody that likes me this much.
And he wrote me a 143-page letter, and I saved it for many years because it was just really very special to me.
Okay, so I guess she's had this for years, and now she wants to show him that she's kept it around after all of this time. Could be wrong, but I feel like this isn't gonna work out the way she wants. Is Sarper even gonna have a reaction? Like, I just imagine him being confused and making this face. I don't know if he's gonna get all emotional and jealous over a 143-page letter from years ago. If anything, he might be psyched to now have a possible excuse to keep his crusty bed for longer. So they meet at the airport, and Sarper gets very emotional and starts crying, and I wouldn't make fun of somebody for crying, but it just seems really unnatural with him. You know, just considering that he said he could forget about her in a day if he wanted to. So the first thing they do when she gets there, of course, is go to his apartment, and she notices that he still hasn't gotten rid of his display of liquor bottles and his crusty bed.
I tried hiding everywhere.
Honestly, I'm not happy to walk in and see that it's still here.
Like, if this is something you're too attached to get rid of, then I don't know what to tell you. It's just a bunch of empty bottles. Unless you're a hoarder, then it doesn't make any sense. He clearly likes to keep little souvenirs from all of his nights out and all of his adventures. And I'm just wondering, if they move to America eventually, is he gonna like pack up all of these empty bottles and bring them there and put them in a display case in her house? Anyway, we have come to the end of the video. We are now all caught up with these two. Do you think that Shekina is actually gonna go through with the marriage, or do you think she's gonna come to her senses at some point and just ditch the entire situation? Also, I wonder what happened with her sister, because I remember they had a big falling out on the last tell-all, so I wonder if they're on better terms now or if they're still not talking. But yeah, anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Before I go, I just want to say if you're interested in content on Jersey Shore, you can head on over to Patreon. There's over 2.5 hours of Jersey Shore videos alone, plus content on TCAP with Chris Hansen and a bunch of other 90-day videos that aren't on YouTube. Well, thank you all again. I hope everyone has a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.
Oh my God. You look so gorgeous. You are my secretary, right? I'm the boss. Take your notebook and come to my office right now.